Egypt have won a World Cup knockout match for the first time in their history, beating Australia 4-2 on penalties after a 1-1 draw through extra time. And the way it happened will be replayed for years. The match itself was tight. Egypt led early through Emam Ashour. He headed home in the 13th minute, a rehearsed free-kick routine that ended with Karim Hulfez picking him out at the back post. Australia had already come close. Christian Volpato clipped the crossbar from 25 yards, inside 5 minutes. Egypt should have doubled their lead seconds after the restart. Omar Marmoush raced through, one-on-one, but shot wide, a miss that came back to haunt them. 10 minutes into the second half, Mohamed Haney turned the ball into his own net off a free kick. 1-1, the scores were level. Then, in the 94th minute, Australian goalkeeper Patrick Beach produced a stunning save, denying Romy Rabia what looked like a winner. Extra time settled nothing, penalties would decide it. And this is where the story really begins. Both nations were about to record the first World Cup penalty shootout in their history. Something that hasn't happened to two teams in the same match since Denmark and Croatia, back in 2018. Egypt, notably, had lost their previous four shootouts in major competition. History was not on their side. Harry Souter blazed Australia's first kick over the bar. Egypt didn't miss again. Mahmoud Saber scored, Romy Rabia scored. And then Mohamed Salah calmly chipped a Panenka straight down the middle, sending Matthew Ryan diving the wrong way. Jackson Irvine and Aura Mabel kept Australia in it. Then came the moment that decided everything. 18-year-old Lucas Harrington, taking Australia's fourth kick, hit the crossbar. Hossam Abdelmaguid stepped up and buried the winner. 4-2, Egypt were through. Here's why this result matters. In their fourth ever World Cup appearance, Egypt had never won a single knockout match. In fact, they'd never even won a match at the tournament at all, until this summer. They're now only the second African nation ever to win a World Cup shootout, after Morocco. And just the fifth African country in history to reach the knockout stage. With Senegal, Ghana, Algeria, South Africa, and Cape Verde all eliminated in the round of 32. Egypt and Morocco are the only African sides left standing. There's a generational contrast buried in the stats, too. Egypt fielded their second oldest starting lineup in World Cup history. The oldest ever fielded by an African team in a knockout match. While Australia handed a knockout debut to Harrington, their youngest ever starter at this stage. 18 years and 301 days old. And then there's Salah. At 34, carrying a hamstring problem picked up against Iran, he played all 120 minutes anyway. Speaking to BBC Sport afterward, he explained why he chose the Panenka on the biggest kick of his career. If somebody was going to do it, it would be me. Asked about the significance of the win, he didn't hide his emotion. It's history. He also gave Australia their due, crediting the Socceroos as a very physical team, with a lot of endurance. Over on the Egyptian bench, head coach Hossam Hassan had his own message before the shootout even began. Strip everything else away, and focus on one kick at a time. Just think about your penalty kick, he said. Don't even think about the goalkeeper. It's the kind of instruction that's easy to give and much harder to execute. But his players delivered on it 4 times in a row. There was even a stat nerd footnote buried in the shootout. Mahmoud Saber became just the second player in major tournament history to score a penalty without having touched the ball once during the match itself. A feat last managed by West Germany's Thomas Strunz back in 1996. And the man who actually won it, 25-year-old Hossam Abdelmaguid? He hadn't scored a single international goal in his previous 15 caps for Egypt before Friday night. Australia's dressing room told a different story. Head coach Tony Popovic had made a bold, last-gasp call. He replaced starting goalkeeper Patrick Beach with veteran Matthew Ryan, specifically for the shootout, hoping his experience would make the difference. It didn't. Ryan couldn't save a single Egyptian kick. Popovic defended the decision, saying it had always been an option. And he didn't shy away from how much the loss stung, admitting he was devastated for them. Beach, for his part, was gracious about being subbed off at such a late stage. I found out at the same time you guys did, he said. Before adding that whatever gave the team its best shot was what mattered. Some pundits weren't as forgiving. Former Scotland international and BBC analyst Scott Brown questioned Australia's penalty order altogether. 2 of their 4 kickers, Souter and Harrington, were centre-backs, not natural penalty takers. ESPN's own post-game analysis went further. It called out the decision to overlook attacking options in the shootout lineup. And it suggested Australia had let a genuinely winnable tie slip away. A harder pill to swallow than their 2 previous World Cup knockout exits, both against sides that went on to win the whole tournament. Inside the Australian camp, though, there was nothing but support for the 2 who missed. Midfielder Jackson Irvine put it simply, insisting the team would never point fingers. "We win together, we lose together." And in one of the more human moments of the night, veteran defender Aziz Behich sought out young Harrington to console him. He told reporters the teenager was expecting big things in the future. And that just having the courage to step up was enough. The reaction split cleanly along Cairo and Canberra lines. In Egypt, the celebrations were immediate and enormous. Tens of thousands poured into the streets of Cairo within minutes of the final kick. Flares lit up Tahrir Square as fans sang late into the night, with similar scenes in Alexandria and Giza. Security forces were deployed just to manage the crowds. One fan told local media exactly what was on every Egyptian's mind. "Now, we're waiting for Messi." On the other side of the world, it was silence. Live sites in Melbourne and Sydney, packed for an early morning kickoff, fell quiet the moment Abdelmaguid's kick hit the net. For Australia's large Egyptian-Australian community, though, the moment came with mixed emotions. One fan watching from Melbourne's Federation Square captured it perfectly. "I was a bit torn, this country raised me." In the end, football found a way to remind everyone what actually matters. Cameras caught Salah, fresh off the biggest win of his international career, walking over to comfort Behich. A rival, in a Socceroos shirt, on the worst night of his football year. Egypt now face Argentina, in the round of 16. The last African flag bearer in this bracket gets Lionel Messi, and the defending champions, next. Salah versus Messi, on football's biggest stage. Egypt will take it, and after Friday night, they'll believe they can take anything.